Good time to remind everyone, since college basketball season is just like 5 days old, of our age-old philosophy here on Spectrum News 13. Can't stress this enough. It's only the preseason. I will say that until I'm blue in the face. You only get a little taste of what this guy can bring. Matt, that was one of the rare measuring stick opportunities for this team based on what the schedule was going to provide for them. And you come away just feeling like it's a gut punch. How big of an impact do you think this has on the entire season? This is where you're going to be in September, and this is what you're going to be playing for. You would have told me what?
I was signed for that one.
Friday, as we all expected, was an exception. Became back page news in his own stadium, mind you, to the highly publicized Browns debut of Deshaun Watson. Look, opted for the popcorn button down for this one because, like a lot of you at home, thought we might see a show. I mean, we weren't wrong. This is also a results-based business. His team's out of the gate 2-9. So how do we know, by not being paralyzed by the record, that this is actually working? That's our jib operator. We love her. She's so good at her job. She's actually moving this camera right now. Read the prompter, Luke.
You are the Russell Westbrook of reporters, by the way.
What, I take bad shots? How do you move away from tradition without ruffling any feathers along the way? Spoiler alert, you can't. We knew not everyone was going to be cool with that decision to move the Coke Zero Sugar 400 from the 4th of July weekend, where it always was, to late August. Why? The only way to top tradition is to give them something they just cannot turn down. I dare you to say no to this dream scenario that's on display this weekend at Daytona. They're going to bookend the regular season at the World Center of Racing. Sign me up, but if you want me to keep going, I will. Let's reiterate the stakes for Saturday's race. Again, top 16 drivers in NASCAR qualify for the playoffs. Standard practice in most seasons is win, and you're in. You got 15 drivers that have ended up in victory lane already this season. It truly is anyone's race at the World Center of Racing. So here's a new tradition for y'all. How about we just give you the highest stakes possible in late August? At this point, really feels like when, not if, for Jeff Scott. Came into Saturday just 4-22 at USF, one win against an FBS opponent. Look, outside of that Florida game a couple weeks back, they've shown no signs of progress. If he saves his job, you're asking to yourself, when is it going to happen? I mean, no, not today. You see the matchup, you get it. I don't know, maybe. Look, Cincinnati hasn't lost a conference game since 2019. There's no way it's going to be to USF because the Bulls are getting 27.5, okay? Well, he's still got to go out there and play the game. In the first quarter, Brian Baptiste, the only line he recognizes is that end zone. Look at this dude run. 4th of the year. Bulls jump out to a 10-0 lead. All right. Since he got off to a slow start, they're going to wake up. Yeah, they would settle in. Second quarter, Ben Bryant, back shoulder, Nick Mardner. Bearcats would take a 14-10 lead. They were going to put it on cruise control from there, right? No. Bulls wouldn't go away. How about this counter? 10 plays, 75-yard drive. Gary Bohannon, Xavier Weaver from OCP. USF up 17-14 at the break. They were smelling upset. They wanted a whole taste. First play of the fourth, Bohannon. Weaver again. X could have given it to you. 7 catches, 112 yards, 2 scores. That would have been the game winner if Charles McClellan didn't do what he did. And he did in a big way. 179 yards, 35 for the go-ahead and the game winner. Bearcats survived 28-24. Jeff Scott now 1-16 in conference play.
What does it say about the team playing like this in just a preseason game with the fans behind them?
It's the preseason. I feel like we need to say that before we discuss anything further. It's the preseason. It's the preseason. And hey, Josh, if you weren't sure about this, it's the preseason. Having said that, this was supposed to be just an exhibition game. It turned into a dress rehearsal. I mean, you saw Memphis make that comeback after the Magic were in control. That's what was the important part in this game, the ability for this team to finish in front of their fans. It was a great crowd here for that preseason opener. But under 5 minutes to go, this game got tight, and that's when you wondered, okay, how are they going to function without Markelle Fultz, without Jalen Suggs on the court, with Cole Anthony being their primary ball handler? Well, they went 2-man, and it was 2 guys that took a huge jump last year, and we expect big things out of this year. Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr. They were sensational in that pick-and-roll game down the stretch. You saw it come to fruition, a lot of big shots. Franz obviously hitting that dagger 3, and then the strip on Ja Morant with under a minute to go. Wendell said afterwards, it's an honor to play with a guy like Franz Wagner. I understand he's younger than me, but our connection is really solid, and I think you saw that on this court tonight, and that's something that you can have a lot of confidence in as this team gets into the regular season without Markelle Fultz and Jalen Suggs being available.